Alright, so hi everyone. I am commentating this match between ditastrutt and wxguesser. I am joined today by Aglet.
Hello.
I guess this board, the main thing that grabs my attention here is that Shirts is the only trasher around, and I feel like you can kind of imagine, like, I guess there isn't much junking, but it means they're going to have thick decks without much of the only draw being vault and council room.
Well, there's
Well, there's
also
also
storyteller.
storyteller. Oh yeah, I guess they do. Oh yeah, I did not see that. I guess a storyteller is be nice, but it's just yeah, I think they'll just figure out that I hit high price. Yeah, storyteller is better with it since with Rome as the only village.
I think storyteller might be a little tricky to use. Probably counselor mode will be slightly better, just to not be using up the money.
But yeah, I agree.
Would be nice to be able to play an animal there before a storyteller though.
That would definitely be nice.
But yeah, they so there might be some junking because we do have ill-gotten gains on the board. Depends on whether or not they'll be going for that. Maybe not. Depends on how much they value the attack. Because at least here, it's essentially a copper otherwise, and just can't add more coppers, which you don't really want given difficulty drawing.
Yeah.
And for increasing money density, yeah, this is not the best way to go about that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I guess they're thinking about playing base only. Yeah, this might be the only game that isn't base only, it seems.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so they both go for it takes Terra Vanguard Silver. It takes double chirps, and then wxguesser goes for Terra Vanguard Silver. I think I'd probably be going for like neither, probably like Shirts Silver here. But the double Shirts also seems fine, given that you can only play a Shirt every other turn and misses shuffles.
Yeah, I think double church is fine. Just got to be careful about what they're putting away and how much they're trashing, so they don't accidentally over trash and have to rebuild all their economy back up. But double.
Go ahead.
Double church is a pretty good opening if you want to be trashing fast.
Yeah, especially like they can just get in some payload.
Yeah, so looks like wxguesser's going a bit more niche of a route, which I guess could also help. Because Phi is a bit difficult to get here because it's either by counseling, which is your terminal draw, or animal fair when the pile's empty. So
yeah, I really want a story. I guess not just a storyteller. I want a few storytellers for a wxguesser, given like all the money in their deck.
yeah, Although it is a bit of a complex card, so we'll see if they take the risk on that. Not really knowing the expansions as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely seems like.
But yeah, getting a pretty high money density as well. Um, I mean, I know Daniels would probably say don't buy gold, but I think here it's a little better given that Storyteller is probably one of the better sources of draw.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this might be an exception for J Nails to the don't buy gold. Unless
But
you
yeah,
like.
one of the 25% of kingdoms, I think, was this estimate. Or even having golds in your deck is worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, so um so ditastrutt has is a bit unfortunate here, although only hit will hit. I mean, you probably want to trash a copper, so this will be a bit of a sad turn. It looks like ditastrutt already got the Storyteller. I think the wrong takes a villain. I mean, I don't think villain's great on this board.
Sorry, what?
I don't think villain is great.
Oh, villain. Okay, sorry, I heard villa.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just got confused there.
Okay, I mean, I guess. So, wxguesser is already provincing, so are they just going big money?
It's right. Well, not right, but I think I would assume they are. I think they're the one that has all of the golds, and few of the silvers. Um, yeah, so if I think building if building up to dominate would probably be better, and if Woodscasser gets some draw in the deck, then they've got a much better chance at that. Uh, but also too, if you don't build up to dominate fast enough, then a big money deck getting a province like at least once every other turn is probably a scary thing to try to play against.
Yeah, although I feel like, I mean, ditastrutt's deck, like, it just needs, like, I think it needs a bit more payload in it, but I think their deck would eventually, like, they could eventually build up to dominate, like, certainly draw deck. But yeah, just add payload and then it would be like, their deck would be pretty respectable.
Storyteller's a bit of a complicated card, so I can see why they're not going for it, but it would be very nice once they learn, like if they go back to this and play it again at some point.
Yeah, I mean, like, their opponent just has way more draw, so I feel like depending on like how ditastrutt does, it's just going to be powerful. So yeah, I think, yeah, Ilga engaged in Duchy Duke, but especially given this, like, giving your opponent, cursing against big money is pretty good. It just curses just really hurt. But yeah, I think that is definitely something worth doing.
So there might be some interesting veggie dancing going on. Just in terms of yeah, I don't know, maybe wxguesser also isn't familiar with dukes as well. But Dutchy Duke and ill-gotten gains is much better than a province every turn. If you can dominate every turn, I think I would still lose. But yeah.
Yeah, last
Yeah, and then,
turn that would have been
okay.
an opportunity for ill-gotten gates.
Yeah, I don't know. Conquered management. I guess maybe it would be slightly better because you're at least with one storyteller, you're going to be moving somewhat faster through your deck, so you'll be able to see the villain you have more often.
Yeah, I mean, like their deck just is in need of, or maybe you don't even go for it. Like it's kind of a close call if you go for ill-gotten gates here, or put another storyteller or two in your deck. Probably. I'm actually kind of leaning towards another storyteller. Province.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be drawing deck for them.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. One storyteller is definitely not the greatest. Like you'll see some stuff, but especially if you can't like reach a source of plus buy, then you could just end up with a ton of money and just not be able to find that. And I don't know, does ditastrutt have a council room?
I'm pretty sure. I want to say pretty sure they each have one council room, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, it looks like wxguesser's got both of them. So
And yeah, I think a curse is definitely something you. Yeah, I don't quite get the not trashing coffers. Doesn't make sense. So we'll see if this is a second storyteller. Use
yeah.
coffers on province. I want to save my coffers for dominate.
Yeah, I think hopefully hopefully they didn't reach 14 with coppers if they had played them on the last one. Because that would have been sad to miss out on a dominate. Could have gotten that instead of just the province. But I think I mean I don't remember. I think they had $13. So province is fine there.
Yeah, so it seems like wxguesser duds there. Of course, I don't know what they dudded with, given that I can't see their hand, but I mean, not being able to see their hand just makes it hard to follow what they're doing.
I I mean, for sure, at least the one curse they have in their deck. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe they didn't want to buy anything less than a province, and it only hit like $5 or $6.
Yeah.
Is a possibility. But
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like
so,
I want to say like Lolo is really right. Like you need you need to like keep building there. I think they were baited by an opponent gleaning to start gleaning himself.
Yeah, yeah. Here definitely, it's a bit of an awkward build because Thornburn is the only village, but it definitely can support building, especially if you like get really thin with churches. Um, then like ditastrutt's deck should basically just not have coppers left at all by this point, and then you could like rebuild from there or get some. Yeah, I mean it's hard to say like they should have some animal players in their deck, um, but yeah, I think like they can get pretty. They can see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I want another storyteller before going for animal fair. Although it seems like they said in chat that they don't understand storyteller, which I guess is a storyteller with storyteller being a good card here. Not understanding storyteller is just it's not going to do you much good.
Yeah, and then too, there's also just the shuffle management aspect of it too. That like you want to think, you need to know like how much money do I still have so that I can spend like know how much to spend on the storyteller, and then is this going to trigger a bad shuffle for me if I were to use that? If I'm going to put all my green cards just into this next and have all my money in my hand. So aside from just even how the card is worded, there's a lot to playing well with storytellers.
Yeah, there's certainly, but I think like the district just has so much potential. I actually wanted. Well, I guess yeah. I guess I do see. Oh, provinces are at one, so yeah. Then the duchy does.
I haven't been following enough to see how hard it would be to hit 8, but they could decide to store over the $3 for the next turn, or probably would be fine if they played their storyteller here.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been paying as much attention to wxguesser's deck as I would like, so that makes it a bit hard to know like how much money they have and chances of hitting 8.
They did use borrow though, which I think that's cool. Like it took me longer to took me quite a while to understand that one for some reason. That even as straightforward as it is, just like yeah.
Yeah, I remember finding dominate. It just kind of felt like oh, I guess I don't know why I thought dominate was menagerie for some reason. I was going to say that I started playing when Menagerie came out, but Dominate is not Menagerie. But I mean, like, I totally had trouble with all the cards, and then I kind of just learned them from just playing.
Get Halo Andy is saying that they missed a win there. I missed that as well. Did they have $8?
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, if they had spent the coffers and used borrow.
Oh, see, borrow like that gives me so much trouble.
Yeah, I've missed like a win by like thinking I need to hit 5 and then I hit 4 and then realize that there's transport.
Yeah, that's yeah, all the weird little things. Like lots of crazy pilots, especially with like Menagerie now. So like autopilot cavalries, stockpiles, just all the like crazy price reducers, gainers. It's just insane how much this game has grown.
Yeah.
And it is a far different game, I think, than even just the base set. It takes the base and just it flies with it, not even runs. Yeah, little bit of inconsistent grading here because there was another gold bot, which I don't know if it's like if you want to do that or just keep like um, just only get duchies at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see if they switch over to the base or limit the card pool to just the silver subscription. But there was some talk earlier about not being used to some of the cards. So we'll see how they end up continuing the match, whether they keep going with full random or what they do.
Yeah. Oh, they have gold? Okay.
Yeah, I think they said something about like, do you want to just keep it to silver? So there, I think at least like yeah. Yeah, only buy silver. That is one way of going about the game. Counter and money, yeah, that could have been good as well. Which is kind of more what wxguesser went with. All right, so going to be moving down to silver. It looks like.
Yeah. I mean, silver is just kind of weak, I have to say.
Yeah, I noticed when watching some people from my family play because on the like the one that we all use non-competitively just to have a wider card pool. We only have the silver subscription there. So yeah, I have to say like when watching a lot of those games are just kind of sad, but that's all right. You gotta start somewhere. Yeah, but no, yeah, a lot of the attacks are super brutal too. Um, yeah, so right now this is 1-0 wxguesser.
Yep. Um,
And is there any way? What's the way to restrict the card pool to a specific set of expansions? I've never actually done.
They just manually tell it what expansions they're using.
Okay.
Seems like they are allowing promos, so that is in gold, I believe. But I guess it's as someone who always just plays gold, I don't know for sure.
But I mean, some of the cards in that one are super complex too. Like there is an art to Governor that I just have not figured out yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dark Ages is another complex one.
Yeah, Dark Ages is definitely one of those.
Yeah, I heard that and Nocturne were the ones that like it was like hardcore. You're not gonna have as much like anywhere near as much fun playing these games. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I need to ask about the Nocturne Mud Squad role. But
I can get that for you. It's just a JSH. It was originally a JSH joke.
okay, nice. Yeah, but yeah, no, I like Nocturne a lot. It is a bit random at times, just given that the boons and hexes, but yeah, I really like the knight mechanic.
Yep, anyway, you have the rule now. Or the
But
rule.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
need.
and Empires too, I guess, with like the debt mechanic. That took a while to figure out as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so this board,
Wait, what? What happened?
they started a
What?
game that has. It's always nice. I don't know exactly what cards each expansion is in, but I guess now I can kind of just see that there are some strong cards. This is actually a strong board as far as some of these go. Yeah, you need Santa Avanto. I think that split is going to be essential given that it's the only village. And just prioritize that. You have to wait till it. Oh wait, I guess they can't hear me.
Also, too, like I don't know what happened because Engineer and Patrician are both from Empires. You can see there's a little like symbol on the bottom right. So like that'll like it took a while to notice that. I mean, like in the silver ones, I'm not exactly sure like what some of the things are. Like journeyman, like I have no idea. Is that from guilds? I would assume, um, but yeah.
Seems to be an adventures thing. I think, assuming I have the symbols right. So, yeah,
I think adventures is a little like fire.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I don't know what the A is. You know, it might be seaside. No, I don't know.
It would be so much easier if I just like I'm just gonna put it in I wanna know now. Okay, yeah, it is from guilds. Like a section, I think, or some kind of like drafting tool.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Oh, compass. Yeah, that's wow. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, either way. Yeah. Interesting engineering ended up in here.
Yeah, I mean, that's like that's a nice combo. Like, we can just use engineers to like empty patricians.
Full support if you want the like extra points from Emporia. You have to have a lot of Sonas and Vantos. So that'll be interesting as well. Yeah, could end up as a bit of a more moneyish game as well. Just because a little awkward. Yeah, Sana Vanto is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so neither of them opened with Sana. I mean, don't like the Baron opening. I think I liked wxguesser's opening a little more there. Although I'm a huge fan of the Sana Silver opening.
Yeah, at least in terms of that trashing, and they might not realize that Sana Silver can trash as well. It's just a little hard to set up at first as well, though. So
yeah, it is annoying to set up, but it's just once you set it up, it's just so good.
Yeah, Place Merchant would be another good opening too. I think Um,
Yeah, that could
yeah,
work. Although I think I prefer this Sauna Silver. Yeah, maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm wrong. I could easily be wrong. I'm wrong all the time, but I'm still kind of a fan of Sauna Silver.
yeah. It's it's just a little hard to think about like how you want to calculate it because like Sona Avanto is the most important pile here, at least until it's emptied. So you want to be able to make sure you can pretty consistently hit 4, um, and then be able to hit 5. So I guess I mean hopefully by the time the Avantos are covered, you're able to be lining up your silvers and saunas. Because otherwise you're kind of a bad spot. Like Spice Merchant is good trashing otherwise. I don't believe in dismantle as an open, just because like getting copper into gold isn't the greatest. Like I would much rather like once I have almost no treasures, uh, I would much rather dismantle a spice merchant into like a patrician oracle or something.
Yeah, that is definitely a nice thing. But like, I still want to just. Yeah, I mean, I'm not huge on the on dismantle here, to be honest. Um, yeah.
Yeah. But one thing we can also probably be pretty sure of is they're both probably going to hit Sonic, or not Sonic, Fountain. Just because a thing that people do. Well, I mean, yeah, it shouldn't matter, but a thing that people do is buy coppers with their extra buy from goons, and you may want to do that at some point. Usually not every single time you have an extra buy from goons. Um, but yeah, and yeah, and like you trash them if you can't. Otherwise, like
Yeah, it is
yeah,
definitely that type.
but yeah, especially when you're like first starting out. Like I know I used to do this a lot, but like I like would buy the extra copper with games thinking, oh, it's an extra victory plant right there, and I can like still like sort of deal with that anyway. And then realize, oh, like if I like start buying coppers later, like once I like have my deck like more under control, and I can actually like, keep doing things.
Yeah, that
So
is definitely the case.
get to that, and it's one of those things that like you gotta know. It just takes time to be able to realize like oh like this is the point where it is good to start getting copper. Um, but yeah, you've got a yeah good draw in Journeyman, but it's just a little difficult without village support. So yeah, what both of these decks just need is like basically like no treasures. It just Song of Avantos, and then you can like rebuild from there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I guess I don't, the rebuild, am I missing something? But I think Goond is fine, payload and points.
Yeah, yeah, if you can get like I mean I like personally like the way I like to play games is it shouldn't really end on provinces. So I'm like more interested in playing as many games per turn as I can. Um, and here that's a little bit awkward because the village situation. But yeah, if you can like crash down, even if you're only like able to play, well, if you get to the point of being able to play 3 games a turn, and don't have any other treasures in your deck, I think it's still fine to only hit $6 there.
Yeah.
And it's just getting to that point of being able to play the 3 units per turn.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think Christian's probably added a little bit too early, just because not too many cards in the deck that it's gonna do much for you. Like you can see what you've got coming up. But here, I think the only cards that he picked up would be the Journeyman and Goons and Gold. So now Avantos, the pile's been starting to be broken into.
I mean, I want like already 9. Like it wasn't open until turn 8. I think that's just late on this board, in my opinion. But
it's been a little difficult to build too, just because I think they probably don't know about the Sun and Silver trashing, or maybe it could just be like trashing is scary at first, like you don't want to be getting rid of your points. And that's a like mindset thing that comes with experience too. Like you're definitely like the 10 cards you start out with are garbage, and you want to get rid of those as fast as you can. And basically, the best Spice Merchant's a really good way to do that, but then Sana and Silver are also good for that. And then once you like start getting your Sanas and Silvers together, then it spirals so that you can actually like end up getting rid of everything.
yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think so. It's just that's just a lot of fun. So I think ditastrutt really wants to just get in a few more Avantos to be able to really use those saunas, but if they can get the Avantos in and draw deck, it's just gonna like they just have such a big advantage if they can do that. Province is not the thing I want right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in my case, probably like don't want provinces at all, really.
Yeah, I mean, for like wxguesser, like I wanted a goon silver there. Their deck just needs goon.
Or an Avato as well. It's a little tricky just because they've lost the mana split so badly, but ditastrutt's also not going to be in a great position if they have a ton of Saunas and no Avantos. There is that at least. Yeah, I think probably Green Silver would have been better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I guess terminal support would be a concern, but like I think their deck is just thick enough that I just wouldn't be too concerned about terminals.
It's a nice pile. And I mean, it's situational. And like goons are way more important. But you kind of like it's a like kind of early thing where it's like, oh, like you can get points from getting this. Like I don't want my points to get those. So just gotta like, kind of like figure out like what are the most important cards in the kingdom. What's the way that I want to go about this?
Yeah, and like looking at chat, just I agree. Like Journeyman just isn't great on this board.
That's another card I don't know how to use well either, just because of again like the skill that you need to know what's in your deck when.
Yeah, that one certainly does require lots of skill.
Great potential for finding another sauna.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they just have lots of potential. They just need to do a bit better with it. Yeah, but like with the Sauna split, like ditastrutt just has so much potential in their deck, so it's kind of sad. See like how they just don't, they just build badly and like this.
That was really good there, leading on Christian. You don't know what you're going to get, so like any opportunity to draw more songs is great.
Yeah.
If you have a son on in hand.
Yeah, because Sana Avanto here is just, it's just so good on this board as like your only village. And yeah, you just need more of those in your deck instead of provinces. You need more of those and then a few runes, and then that's your payload and points right there.
I don't know what for a 4, but another Avanto would be great here. It might be a little difficult, and if they trigger, okay, but yeah, they have the possibility to like, with some shuffle management, like not wanting to trigger so that they can put their like 3 of their saunas, if they had bought 2 Avantos together all into the discard. Um, so shuffle management is still important for an Avanto. Yeah, and I agree. I agree. Province was not a good card to buy there.
Um, yeah, it looks like ditastrutt is catching up with the goons. But yeah, I agree. Like ditastrutt is winning the long game, but losing the short game. They don't want to be, and they don't want to be lowering piles at this point. Although we'll see, they might, like they are so far, like they're just so, their deck is just in so much better shape that it is that like I still think it's possible to catch up.
Yeah, I think it is as well. Um, but yeah, they do have the fountain points there, which wxguessers yeah, trying to figure out. Yeah, so they are not in a good position to try to contest it, because they trashed, I believe, 6 of their coffers. So
Yeah.
so they've trashed 6. So they've got a higher money density. And I don't know, maybe too many terminal actions, but uh, they've got 1 copper. So I mean, you never know. They could this game could go on long enough that they could get back to the 10. Do they have 6 coppers? Oh, gaining 3, probably also buying. Okay, so yeah, if they try, they can definitely get back to Fountain.
Yeah.
Ditastrutt's in a bit of a rough position there.
Yeah, I don't doubt their ability to do Fountain. It should be pretty easily possible.
A bit of a sad draw, but I guess kind of to be expected with the lack of trashing that's been going on. Yeah, so one thing that both should definitely take away from the Alonso is like can trash. Play your silvers first. Don't autoplay. Play your silvers so you can trash a card. 1 per persona you have in play. But yeah, like granted, it's not the greatest traction just because of how hard it can be to line up persona and silver. But in games where Son of Anto is also the only village, then you're going to want to get a lot of money. So lots of opportunity to be trashing and get to the point you can just draw your deck literally every turn. All right, yeah. Interesting buy. I think probably a bit late for that.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely feels too early.
Aside from the debt mechanic here. Yeah, interesting misclick there. But yeah, I like just this morning I was playing the game. Like Bounty Hunter was right next to Village Green, and I like do not know why, but like I clicked Village Green instead of Bounty Hunter, open it. It just like took a second to realize, oh shoot, that was not a good move. Thankfully, my opponent was kind enough to let me undo because I did technically get new information because of their Falconer reveal, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. You just showed in a bit of a rough spot here. Gonna want to try to find goons as they can, but yeah, maybe. I think with the journeyman there, they should have named Copper, um, just to at least like, have a chance of finding something high value.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like just getting a copper there for their deck, it does seem good. Now the coin shortage is just going to hurt in the long game.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't have provinces on games board. Like that is just a good rule of thumb. Uh, goons goons should be the main way of scoring because it is just such a strong point getter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like wxguesser got most of the provinces, but if you oh wow, and actually didn't even make it to fountain point either.
Yeah, but still
Wow.
still was able to do some stuff here.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have a games game and here it is again as we said a bit of an awkward bit of an awkward village situation. But if you were playing 3 games per game or three games per turn, then you would be able to get 3 points per card. That's 4 buys. So you can have a lot of pile control. It is very difficult to do much if you only if you're starting with a 3 card hand every turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Goons is very centralizing card that you want to not get too many of, but just it's like whatever you can end up supporting.
Yep.
You wanna go through this board as well, Rosie?
Sure. So this board, it has a border village, which is going to be a nice sort of village because they use it. So it's going to be another dominate board where I think dominate is even more doable. They have overlord, which will be nice. Their payload will I feel like you could build some pretty nice payload here with like festival militia, honestly. I guess maybe only 1 militia, and then you can take a few points from monument. Although with dominate around, I'm not sure how much the monument points will do. Yeah, there is a lack of trashing here that I notice, and a lack of draw. So I mean, yeah, I mean,
Watchtower and Envoy, so it is a bit awkward, but it is the pretty good draw. And I guess the question is would you prefer like a Festival Watchtower draw to X engine or um, maybe more conventional, just go like Villages Envoy? The
yeah.
interesting question, which one is better?
Yeah, and you certainly have the terminal support for Envoy, given that like there's Border Village, which pretty good, and then you have Festival as one of your payload sources. So I don't like the Lighthouse Militia opening too much. I mean, Gladiator Militia. I mean, if you don't get terminal collision, it seems better, but I think I personally would have liked like Silver Militia.
There's that lighthouse being real helpful.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's just a bit unfortunate how this shuffle worked out for datastrut.
Yeah, but like here, yeah. I'd rather take nothing over Lighthouse.
Lighthouse is it does defend you from attacks, but I think it's not like the attacks aren't like so horrible here that it'll like absolutely destroy you. Like Swamp Hag would definitely snipe bloody houses around all the time. But yeah, I think discard attacks are annoying, but there is the means. Like it'll take a bit to set up, but there's the means to make militia work better for you than for them, because if you can set up so that you have the festival and watchtower in your hand, then that's 6 cards of draw just right there. But yeah, this is a board that you can definitely build very big. Yeah, so because gladiators board, we did talk about that as a split pile. So under gladiators fortune, which is a very very good payload card, and like can also like still do a ton of work even if you don't have many treasures in the deck. Just because it doubles whatever you have. So I think building to double dominate would be maybe a bit difficult, but I think that's doable.
Yeah, it's not impossible to do. You certainly want to go to single dominate. And double dominate, like it surprisingly, like I think it's actually something that you could possibly do.
Randy's saying it looks pretty simple, and yeah, I mean, yeah, as long as you have the ability to keep playing, like play a lot of cards, like play a lot of action payload, aside from having some treasures in your deck, then yeah, I think should be quite easy. But yeah, it is a question too of whether fortune will even be uncovered, and if they go for it, because it does look prohibitively expensive, just because it costs as much as a province plus the debt. So a little tricky, and hopefully they don't end up just skipping that. But also, it's just very weird too. Like I thought they were restricting this to silver. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm not quite sure what they're doing. But like whatever it is, I think so they have the sport, and I'm kind of glad they're not restricting it to just silver, because in the end, silver games, they're just not that much fun.
Yeah, and I mean, if the pattern holds, and they've got two Empires cards, then maybe we'll get to see some encampment play. Like that's one of my favorite cards from Empires.
Yeah, like if they can get that going, then it's pretty good.
Yeah, but looking at the state of their decks, only one watchtower has been taken. Lots of festivals, so they've got the money in action now. They're a little behind on the draw.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Triumphal Arch could be a consideration too, just because like I do want to have a lot, like as many festivals and border villages as I can have, and at least 3 watchtowers, at least like a couple envoys as well. Watchtower envoy has a bit of an anti-synergy, but you can't always. It's just hard to be able to see a festival and watchtower on every time. So
yeah,
Yeah, but you also have the top decking effect too, having a watchtower in hand after at the end. Okay, so just going straight into provinces. I mean, yeah, I just want to keep building. Only having one envoy is not the greatest. Like, yeah, you definitely want to be able to get to dominate. If the fortune's never uncovered, sure. But yeah, like you need draw too. Like you want to see cards. Like you're not able to see or do much if you have a couple festivals and a militia in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, Watchtower draw might be too difficult. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really think watched. I mean, I can imagine setting something up, but I think you just enjoy for a draw, and then stuff a bunch of good cards into your deck.
But definitely more envoys, and I do want to get a one Watchtower for being able to top deck the things that you buy. But yeah, this may also just be not being quite as familiar with the cards, but a general principle of envoy is you want to like try to deny draw as much as possible. So there went the action cards to get rid of that could have been potentially played. If the only two available are festival and border village, I think getting rid of the border village would have been better.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, it's kind of a close call, given that I guess it really depends on what if you're tracking their deck, if you know what cards they might draw. It really just depends.
If it were the case that Ditastrutt had more than just the one envoy, and it was the decision between envoy festival, like 100% just discard the envoy.
Yeah, and also if you, I guess the other case where you don't want to always deny draws, if playing the draw would make your opponent trigger a shuffle with junk cards in it, because then they might not, either they wouldn't play it or they would just have a hand of junk and a shuffle full of junk. Just feed a few turns.
I might fall for it. Like, cool, like they let me have this draw. Like, oh no, I just triggered a terrible shuffle. What have I done? But yeah, it would be an interesting trap there. Yeah, but yeah, having yeah, Overlord, yeah, is another card that I don't quite know how to play with well. Um, just because I don't know how to prioritize the ratio of Overlord to other stuff that I want.
So Ditastrutt, it seems is lowering here. So I mean, when you're lowering, I guess you just take a lighthouse and live with it in your. I guess they're not lowering. There's something in chat asking if you've played with Captain.
I have, yeah, and for some reason I just haven't figured out the for some reason it feels different to me. Just because Captain, it's slightly limited play and is also a duration card. It feels like it's different than Overlord. But I guess to be fair, the more like thing about what I like my own trouble with Overlord is usually like if a card is $5, that's more of a like generally like the power cards are $5. And so it's like the mix of what do I actually want to have in the deck uh, versus like how many overlords do I want to be able to have, I guess, the flexibility. Yeah, and if that's just like for whatever reason a harder decision for me than captain is, uh, I don't know why.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and maybe it's also the deck too. Like, I don't know like when is a good time to be like adding Overlord and how does using Overlord as like a witch on like turn 3 affect my shuffles and what would I end up getting to be able to uh, being able to do based on what happens.
Yeah, for sure. That is definitely something to take into account.
Yeah, I can see it, the like Overlord wouldn't be a good if you open here. Like I agree that like definitely should have an Overlord, uh, but but yeah, I guess like if you're not really like draw is Overlord is probably important. You probably want to be like cycling faster. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that's true. They're like playing an envoy or an overlord turn 3 as an envoy. Um, like it's great to get like expensive cards into your deck quickly. That's for sure. Because you'll see a lot of money, and I mean you might draw your action like other opening by dead, but that's I guess a bit of a risk.
Yeah, definitely. Just a risk for that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Turn 3 overlord could probably pay that. I don't agree with the lighthouse though. I mean, it's capable of that, but I might actually just want to get another overlord or pass. Um, in that case,
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
penultimate province rule. Uh, don't want to don't want to be taking leaving provinces at one unless you're well ahead, and even then it can be risky. So wxguesser didn't end up getting punished for that there, but it's always a possibility that you could just end up letting your opponent just take the win right there if you take the second last province.
Yeah, that is a true statement.
Hence, I have made hand. This is probably like one of the best hands that they can get given the state of their deck.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
great hand.
except should have played Watchtower for Envoy there.
Yeah. Um,
I mean, it's not an easy call to figure out what is starting, and the wxguesser doesn't know like, that there's already a silver in hand, so like they don't know that whatever they discard isn't going to stop the disrupt from being able to buy this product. But yeah, like yeah, yeah, I guess you want to like just play out the rest of the turn, but yeah, this is a win in hand. Hopefully, ditastrutt sees that. They could be going like double dutchy state, which would be terrible. Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, well, they get a win there.
Right now is 2-1 wxguesser.
Yep.
I'm going to mute myself and be right back.
Right. Yeah, it's okay. So what do they have here? It seems like their draw is Ghost Ship and Diplomat. So that does seem nice, especially because yeah, Ghost Ship and Diplomat is it's a nice interaction because you can draw your cards and then discard some, and that way you can pretty much use Ghost Ship as a sifting opportunity, given like how many cards you're drawing instead of top decking. So that is a nice interaction going on there. As for their draw, it's Ghost Ship and Diplomat. There is Prince here. I mean, you can hit 8. Printing a Diplomat could be nice. Of course, nothing here is going to be sustainable given that Swindler is out. Yeah, because your opponent can just give you a bunch of bandits. And then, I mean, golds, they're going to be fine for your deck, but, like, not. Yeah, well, yeah, Swindler Ghost Ship. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that interaction. It's actually, yeah, that's a nice interaction. You can kind of control what your opponent's swindlers, like, top deck your estates. It's too bad you can't, like, order your cards in Ghost Ship. Just need to take your chances.
Started to rain on my end, by the way. Bit of a weird day. Like 80-ish degrees like an hour ago, and then now it's decided to get cool and rainy.
Oh.
But yeah. So what was that you were saying about not being able to order your cards with Ghost Ship?
Yeah, because if you can't control which order you top deck your cards in, which is very useful here with Swindler, because you can control what your opponent gets possibly. Although if your opponent can, they will play the Swindler first most likely. But like if they can't, then And then like all of your and like eventually like your ghost, you get unlucky, your ghost ships are just gonna become bandits, which is not a great card.
Well, maybe Outpost would be a good replacement for Ghost Ship. I don't know. If they already have one, though, I like to give another Outpost. Although I guess that could also backfire.
Yeah, I mean, once they have one outpost, I don't really mind giving them more. But until they have an outpost, I think I'd prefer to just give them bandits. Especially because until they draw their deck, the golds are gonna hurt. But I feel like at some point you're just going to be drawing deck with Diplomat Workers Village. And that's just gonna be it. Yeah.
At times, but there are a good number of cards that I want to have in my deck. So it's not like I only want to have like one specific card, basically. Like a nice variety. I also noticed that these. Okay. Do they both have attachment? Yeah, they both have attachment. So an interesting choice. Maybe just agreement to not go Swindler, which is always a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, if they don't go Swindler, then that's nice. Of course, there is always the threat of your opponent taking a Swindler. So that threat, it's going to be a bit annoying to play around. I could not hear whatever you just said.
Okay. I was just saying it's this one is more straightforward than some of the ones that they had before. That it is nice to have this like easy source of action and to draw.
Yeah, certainly.
And the diplomat reactions nice as well. Actually, oh yeah, no diplomat get her own ghost ship. I just realized.
Yeah, Diplomat is a great counter to Ghost Ship.
Well, slightly.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's not that good in some ways,
Yeah.
but it's decent. Not a bad option.
Well, granted, like it is also like a bit more of a wordy card there.
Yeah, it's definitely a wordy.
I was trying to think too, like Diplomat seems like just such a great card against any sort of like discard attack. Ghost Ship's not quite a discard attack, but yeah, and yeah, the ability to like see some more of your deck to like discard that if you want is really helpful. Here, not necessarily the most, but you can also like just move some like shift some like coppers and estates or whatever you don't want in your next hand around on reaction to the ghost ship. Oh yeah, and Moyo brings up a good point. Handling provinces is actually effective in this kingdom. Just give them a prince. But I think at this point they're probably if there haven't been any swindlers, but I don't think they're gonna go with swindlers.
So yeah, so currently only ditastrutt has a ghost ship. Already turned 10, and neither of them have swindlers. So at this point, I'm not too worried about getting your engine destroyed. And they
Actually, is another kind of counter to ghost ship too, because it makes sure that you have unique.
Yeah.
So that's nice too.
Yeah, Menagerie is definitely, yeah, because I guess, yeah, I can see like why you're not going for Ghost Ship, just because there are so many great things that like can do to counter a Ghost Ship. And I just noticed there that a bandit was taken. I'm not sure who that was, but there are lots of things here that I would take over bandit. Seems like it was ditastrutt. Yeah, I guess Menagerie is also really good with outposts when you're starting with a small hand.
Yeah, it's a nice kingdom. I like this. Airship is there, which is brutal, but there are at least some good ways around it. And yeah, also the interesting like event too. Like to try and fight. I don't think it's going to be too useful here, just because there's not a lot of like mid turn gaining. So it's maybe going to be like a 2 point, 3 point estate. Um, but also depends too if they want to deal with the debt, because there are enough workers villages that if you wanted, like you could try to go for some like cheaper things to get a few things going, but they're probably gonna want to do.
Yeah, I'm just not generally good at triumph forts, so, but yeah, I am liking it here.
Yeah. Ironworks is a pretty good game. Um, yeah, but yeah, it takes a bit of work to be able to set that up. And at least the way these decks are here, even if they didn't have that many ironworks, I don't think they'd be able to play them all. But then also too, the game would probably be very close to over at that point. It just as like a final, I guess. Uh, eight ironworks. So it's half. Yeah, provinces are worth 6 points, not 8.
Yeah, and I also I don't think it'll matter here, but it's generally good practice play your draw first if you have the turn for everything. I don't think it matters here, but I just noticed it about play order.
Yeah, here you're not probably going to be able to gain and play the gold that you get from the bandit. So um, yeah, that's a good point to make. Yeah, which is why you want to have a lot of broad thinking. And here you definitely could build up big enough to be able to draw your deck pretty easily, and probably have overdraw. So you can be just like setting up for an outpost turn or playing a bandit using that gold that turn. Um, so yeah, a lot of stuff. If you just build a bit bigger.
Yeah, and I also noticed ditastrutt just went for province. I don't like that. I think you want to build up your deck probably draw your deck. Yeah.
Is it 9 fairy today, or because that could have been another workers village ghost ship. But yeah, like they just need like more ghost ship, more diplomat, maybe some more managers. Yeah, so this is one of the nicer kingdoms too. That there's like nice like straightforward uh, like draw engine that you can do. Um, Thinning is a bit slow, but you can maybe get to the you can probably still get to the point where you're doing some nice gain and play tricks. Yeah. So like here is a like great instance of why diplomats would be useful because they get 2 actions if you there are fewer than 5 or fewer cards in your hand and you draw with them. So it's a great like if you have a diplomat in your outpost, you use that to kick off like a turn that could be just as good as a normal turn. Yeah, yeah. Taxman isn't thinning. No, that's true. Um, there is still the problem with better stuff, but also no cost reduction too. Helpful for like oh no, like silver got turned into a curse now. That really hurts.
Yeah, and I agree. Like there, like Taxman, it just I don't like Taxman at all. And like it just yeah, it just makes Swindler more powerful. Although not like they gone for Swindler here. Which is I mean here I do kind of like Swindler. Have like terminal space and Swindler. It's really nice when it comes like it gives you a small amount of payload, but more importantly, it just slows down your opponents enough. It's by far the best attack on this kingdom.
Yeah, yeah. Because yeah, if the swindler hits silver, like kind of stinks. But you can turn draw cards into or swindlers into silvers, um, and at the very least, they'll discard gold if you happen to hit them. Just because there's nothing else to replace the gold with. And a thing to replace $5 cards with is generally duchies, just as like a useful, or at least useful card. Although I can see not doing that. here, just because the mindset is like, oh wait, I don't want to be giving my opponent 3 points. Like, but yeah, in decks that can do a lot. Having like your $5 draw card for like source of extra turn replaced with 3 points is not worth it in the long run.
Yeah, for sure.
These decks are pretty chunky here.
Yeah, they.
Yeah, a bit difficult just because so much like there's not the greatest action payload, and they both skipped it. So I guess like more treasure based payload, which make it a lot harder to get through your deck.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a challenge here.
So very slow end game approaching. It'll be interesting to see whether it ends on piles or if it'll just go to provinces, because I just don't know how consistently they can hit $8. The wxguesser has a nice little pair of turns. Those ships are in a good place, but because both these decks are so huge, they won't see those ghost ships for a while. So it's gonna be a bit slow to just be getting through.
Yeah.
Here, if they wanted to, Gitstruck could have gotten themselves a golden hand. They had the actions to play the taxman before the ghost ship. So I don't know which was first, whether it was the outpost or the copper. Um, Opting not to play the taxman there. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I don't think you needed to play the taxman there. You just didn't.
Yeah. I mean, not that I'm saying that they should have, but that was just an option that they could have done. Um, yeah, I think at this point, it's just more like higher money density when it should be like the ghost ship pile and diplomat pile should both also like almost be empty. Like it would just be so much easier to like get through your deck if you can draw. X4. Okay. So I think ditastrutt won the workers village split, so that was a pretty good outpost turn there for wxguesser.
Yeah.
Not a lot of stuff to quite be able to hope for. But yeah, we're approaching the end game. That was a nice player by wxguesser. Get the hand size down so you can do more.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't have reacted that there. Could have been unfortunate hands to try to do something because you can't really draw with mag or you can't really draw properly with diplomat. So I think top decking both of those would have been better.
Yeah, I probably would have.
But then there's also still you got to top deck something anyway, so would have been better to have ended up with. Oh man. Oh yeah, and yeah, I guess they didn't realize that. Yeah, there would have just top decked the workers village. Like wanna try to set up for your turn, and you have a province in hand right there. So
Yeah, I think, yeah, you just play it. I think you're in just that much of a position. I guess, I don't think either of them has enough gains to possibly pile. Not quite at that point yet.
yeah, buying a triumph would have been good. But yeah, just an extra thing to think about, and I don't know the feeling people have when they yeah, like so yeah when I first started playing with triumphs, like it was a bit rough. It was like was triumphing too early and wasting the states. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, but 5 points here would have been pretty worth it. I think. I just don't know, like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
If they like had bought like province, duchy, estate, and then triumph, it would have been slightly more. But then also like they had no way of knowing that they would be able to do that. But they they like it could have paid off $2 of debt in the last turn. just bought the pot, trying to, and got debt to 3, and still been able to get a province too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you never know with how like thick these decks are, and that was 2 pretty good turns in a row. So the rest of the shuffle is probably not going to be the greatest. Yeah, here is a good diplomat react. You wanna be getting through. They made it through this shuffle. And yeah, it's going to be hard to get through the next one because this is most of their draw right there. They just missed this shuffle, so it's going to be a bit of a slog and quite a bit of luck required to be able to make it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I don't think they're quite at the could be because it's possible that they have the ability. I mean, the question here, yeah, you don't go for the duchy pile just yet, but I think, yeah, pretty soon a duchy pile out would be feasible. So I guess they're leaving. I mean,
Yeah, with the state of these decks from an outpost turn, I wouldn't want to leave a province at one, but there are menageries too. I forgot about the 5 menageries or so they have.
yeah. And I mean, like, if you get an estate, then it's like a bit harder for your opponent to win, but like I still want to be leaving the provinces at 1. But like it's possible. Like it's hard to track their deck, but like I still think it's possible.
They have $5 in hand already. Okay, no.
Yeah, so I guess at this point, yeah, I feel like a better win for them that would have been more reliable would have been to double duchy on their last turn. And then, because I think if they had double duchy, then I think you can more reliably hit 5 than 8. And I think,
yeah,
because now, I mean, now I guess double duchy isn't quite enough for ditastrutt.
There are plenty of buys and a lot of money. The province duchy double estate. Is that enough?
No, that's not quite enough.
Oh.
Yeah, they would need double duchy and then the rest of they're like province double duchy or province double estate would do it. But they can't quite. All they can do is province duchy estate, which ties. But yeah, seems like they are taking the tie.
Oh yeah, and Triumph too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I missed that
yeah,
one.
And that is when you would buy the Triumph. Those last second pumpkins.
Yeah, you could have. Yeah, that was that. Yeah, I didn't even notice that one, but yeah, could have won.
Yeah. What is this? 2.5, 1.5? wxguesser?
Yep, I think so. More games. This is a long match. So what do they have here? There's, I guess neither of them have black market banned. Because so I guess they can. And black market will be their only village. Except, I guess never mind. They have crown. At double duchy estate triumph would also win. Yeah, they had lots of win options there. Notice any of.
There's always fishing, like, yeah, Trusty Steed is a village, and then there's probably find a village in the black market too.
Yeah, and I guess the more thing is that prize, like it's just princess and black market stuff. As for your opening, probably just tournament black market.
Or yeah, like I kind of want to think too, so I would probably go tournament lookout personally, and then get a black market for the next shuffle.
Yeah, I mean, in your next, that could work. I mean, on this board, I kind of prefer. I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, Temple is terminal, which, yeah, so lookout is probably better here.
Yeah, and I don't remember who it was that I was watching, but like if it was conversations with someone else, but like one of the things that tends to happen is e-tournament. Um, Actually, yeah, this might have been talking with Halo Andy, but like if you see tournament on the board, like you see you've got a lot of great prizes, and so like that makes you think, oh, I've won a lot of tournaments. But like the thing here is like if you have a few tournaments, you can still do a lot just as well, because it can be difficult to collide the tournament and the province, and like that's really what you need. So for any like if you're trying to collide any two cards, you want as thin a deck as possible. So at least both of them are going for some trashing option to work on thinning as well, which is very good. Yeah, between Temple and Lookout, I think I prefer Lookout. Um, Although aside from the points that you can get from Temple, another benefit it has is that it can trash up to 3 cards versus Lookout's only trash one at a time.
Yeah.
Also depends on having stuff having uniques that you want to trash. And Temple is another of those piles too, where it's like, oh, there are points there. I want to make sure my opponent doesn't get those, and then you just end up with multiple temples in your deck. Not not the greatest thing. So yeah, I think 2 temples at this point is not necessary.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, temple just, unless like there's like a pile of points there, you really just don't need a second temple here. Like, I could see going without any temples, given that it's just a terminal crasher. I think I might prefer lookout. No.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just depends on like lookout aside from trashing mode can do a little bit in setting up your next turn. Like if you see two estates in a copper, like automatically just trash one estate and spread the other, and then you'll have a higher likelihood of more money than if you had a temple, which wouldn't be able to see um, the two estates in copper coming up. I think you're basically just guaranteed unless it's right before a shuffle.
Yeah, yeah, I guess that is, shuffles are definitely a downside of lookout. But like down in the game, you sometimes like have a junky hand anyway, and want to trigger the shuffle. The lookout still. So the lookout will miss one of your shuffles. You just get to choose which one. But yeah, lookout definitely has that issue.
Great use out of the quite yet, but they're pretty flexible cards. What do you think of the Explorer here?
Yeah, I'm not huge on it. I mean, if you're gonna do something that involves revealing province, might as well be tournament.
I've found they're very situational. I don't think this is a good situation for them. Just because like each time you play it, you're adding another treasure card to your deck, and then like it's going to be better than a copper, but like it's just like either making your deck bigger or at least like undoing what you had just trashed with your temple or lookout. So I like that. That's the consideration that I have when thinking about Explorer here. Just that like you can get pretty high. Like you can hit 8, and you don't even need golds to do that. Um, it's just a matter of like how thin do I want this deck to be at the moment? Because thinning is going to, if you have a thinner deck by the time you like get provinces, you're already in a better position than your opponent for being able to get prizes. Um, Granted, like you could also like there's such a thing as shuffle luck, so you could also just end up like not getting your permanent province together when they do, even though they have a thicker deck. But at least like statistically, like having the thinner deck makes that more likely. Yeah, and here temples probably just not as good now. I would assume that's yeah, there are no estate, wxguesser doesn't have any estates left, so I assume that was either a temple or a tournament.
Uh,
Assume that the other was a temple, which honestly, like I think you should just trash that. You only like one temple. Even like now, if you hit the temple with a lookout, you should probably trash that because temple will get in the way more. That will.
yeah.
Yeah, a duchy was bought, so that's not good. Um,
Yeah, it's too early in the game for duchy.
but they did buy a province, so that's better. But yeah, and the duchy is just another card in the way of their tournaments and provinces too. So sure, you got 5 points, 3 with the battlefield. Um, it's much better to have just got the province. Oh yeah, I guess black market. So I don't know. Does black market also like go to the same restrictions that like I mean supposedly they had this just restricted silver, um, but like if it were actually just restricted, does black market stay within silver, or like if you have like crypts or something like from an expansion that is not in silver show up?
No, I'm pretty sure it can be anything. Just any kingdom cards, I believe.
Although I think it is not anything that would. I think nothing with Ocean House will show up though. If I remember the stuff I read about the implementation correctly. Okay. All right. Thanks, Maria. But yeah, it is weird that they added. I guess maybe they thought marriage was uh, in the silver.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, but at least I think Empire is good cards.
Yeah, I'm glad they included Empire.
Uh, just the standard silver, a little less set, the more things to defend against this brutal seaside tax, especially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I like that the tournament pile is busted, but I do think that there should like crowns should not be at 10. Um, crowns are very good. It's a throne room there, and so like just double like you can use it on a treasure room too. Which I don't know if there would be any of the like insane synergies that you can do with other like non-treasure cards, but crowning treasure cards is also very nice. Like not silver, gold, copper, like that's okay. Like that's skippable, but like crowning counterfeiting crown, either of those is great.
Yeah, that's agreed.
But yeah, yeah. Here I would at least want for the throne room variant.
Yeah, the throne room variant there is really nice.
Oh yes, and counting in black market too. That's another synergy. That one is not as obvious, so I doubt. I mean, well, they won't find that out if they never get any crowns, but uh, yeah, yeah, and yeah, wxguesser is falling into the black market trap. That there are a lot of fun cards to play that you get to be the sole owner. Uh, yeah, if goons are pulled, then it could really turn things around for them. But
Yeah, this is why I have black market banned. It just has too much luck in it.
I like it more often than not. But I also just will resign faster on if it's something like they got like goons on like turn 6, and then they got groundskeeper on like turn like 9 or 10. So like at that point, it's just like seriously, like, okay,
Yeah, at that
I'm
point.
losing this one. But yeah, I think it's fun. Sometimes it is necessary. Like I don't recall seeing villages, but um, that might be nice. And this is also this aside from followers and trusty steed, the kingdom's also kind of lacking draw. So the draw card would be nice to get from the black market as well.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
And plus buy. So yeah, there's a lot. That is either like only accessible through villages. So you kind of need the black market if you like don't get access to the prizes.
Yeah, getting access to the prizes early, that just gives you a huge lead. This is why tournament games just have such a major FPA.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just noticed that Trusty Speed has not been gamed yet. I think here um, it's Trusty Steed is way better because you just want to make sure to like get yourself a village. Um, like followers is draw, but it's also just I don't think that the attack and the estates that you're gaining from your own like to your own deck are worth not having a village for yourself. Um, so wxguesser isn't in a position to be able to take the trustee seed, but I would want to have followers when it has trustee seed.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Here at least, like somewhat mitigated by the fact that there is pretty decent traction. So, but yeah, the discard attack is kind of annoying. And, yeah, at least like adding, like if you have temple as your only trasher, then adding the estates to your deck just makes it harder to line things up that you want to line up.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Temple as your only trasher, which I guess they do, then that's just it's just its own problem. Temple is good on this board. I could not hear whatever you just said.
Sorry, I was probably a bit too far back. But Temple I think is best on games with shelters, just because you can crash fastest that way because of not having only two unique cards in your deck. Um, here, like generally, I would take a look out over a Temple as my initial trasher.
Yeah, like I would have done that too from the beginning.
Duchy from the tournament. Um, okay, yeah, trustee seed store has not been gained, so definitely should not be getting duchies at this point.
Yeah, like at this point, yeah. You want the trusty steed is just it's a great card. Don't want to be turning those down.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the order I would get it is trustee steed, princess, and then followers. Yeah, and yeah, it is sad that the crowns are still at 10. But yeah, wxguesser is just only a matter of time. This is their deck is just a bit too much. They're just so far behind.
Yeah, like at this point, I just don't think they have much of a comeback.
Aside from the VP tokens from Monument and Temple, I don't think you can say that there is such a thing as half VP, but it's pretty close. And if you're only seeing about like 5 or 6 cards of your deck per turn, it's just it's not much is going to happen.
Yeah, that is 100% true.
Yeah, like here, probably worth it just trash the silver as well. Pass, like get stuff out of your deck. You've got a pretty massive points lead, and opponent isn't really likely to have a comeback. Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, just so unlikely.
Yeah. Yeah, and black market. Yes, if they get both groundskeeper and goons and stronger draw cards, maybe a sanctuary, that would all be very nice. But yeah, well, I guess sanctuary shouldn't show up as a menagerie card, but yeah, really, it's really too bad that like this is restricted to the silver plus empires.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I guess like a lot of the cards get super wacky.
Yeah, I like I understand why they do it. That doesn't mean I like it. It's just it's really sad to watch as a spectator.
Definitely be practicing with the gold. Like if you have the gold subscription, I can understand like not wanting to play tournament games right away, but definitely like get used to that because Dominions. There are a lot of sad boards but we've already seen sadder boards anyway. Even in just the silver expansion, so
Yeah,
might as well have a sadder board with a like really like wacky set of cards.
yeah. I mean, like you like Like Silver expansion has like all of the earlier cards that are not as powerful. So we have to give it some credit for that.
Yeah, yeah. But I think aside from yeah, I don't know. Like there are with a lot of like pretty brutal attacks in the earlier, especially with like not as easy ways around them. Um, I don't know what I would say is the like worst attack card. Swamp Hag is certainly there just with how it tends to make games run, but Legionary is also like is a really like rough one, and you have the possibility of seeing that average card.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have the possibility. I mean, we'll see. Like, not quite sure like how that one would end up.
Yeah. So yeah, wxguesser. Yeah, this game is not going well, but it isn't totally due to luck. Like a lot of tournament games and black market too. Like a lot of this is just like you need to you need to know what's in your deck and where sort of it is. Like shuffle management is super important for tournament games. Because like that deck is much thinner than ditastrutt's. So it has that going for it for sure. But then it's just like too far behind on getting provinces. And granted, there might be some shuffle luck there, like you can't get a province until a turn or two after. But yeah, like it's also exacerbated a little bit by black market being actually pretty important. But then you also have to figure like what are the most important cards here on the deck, and tournament is a super important one, and it does give you access to draw a village and of course a buy. So yeah, like it comes with experience. We'll get there, but yeah, at the moment, like definitely does seem kind of more luck based. Um, but yeah, no shuffle management. Like there was obviously still bad luck, um, but once you learn how to control your shuffles much better, then it really just makes the game so much more fun with the what you can do.
Yeah. But I completely.
All right, you got a governor game.
Okay, yeah, I'm not great with governor. Just the part where you have to like balance out not giving stuff to your opponents and all of this getting good stuff
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, and playing like it'll be interesting. I don't know if they'll really go for governor, but it's always a possibility. But otherwise, like well, not the greatest either, because there's not really a source of trashing of governor, and governor is very sad. You want your opponent to play governor to trash so that you can trash coppers. But you also don't want to use your governor on trashing coppers. You can get a lighthouse or an estate, and neither of those are really great.
Like I don't think it'll. I mean, maybe like I want like you could do is like go for like the border village smithy engine, and then eventually like and then turning your village, and then at the end of the game you have a mega turn where you turn all your border villages into provinces. Um, but that's something
Yeah,
you do towards.
yeah, if you do something like that too, then mountain pass won't really be a factor. And Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Mountain Pass here because it's like it's a hard one for the best players in the world. I know Shanahan
Yeah.
was saying
I remember at
that
some
like
point Donald X said that in an early version, someone bid 99 for Mountain Pass, and then they weren't down for the rest of the game. They had super remodels and took provinces.
it went up to 99. That's insane.
Yeah, during playtesting.
Yeah, like if you don't need to buy a card, then bid whatever you want. Yeah. Oh yeah, because of governor, like just bid 40 debt and you're fine. You don't need to buy anything else. Governor is the way to like get things. Yeah. But yeah, it's also early menagerie. Yeah, it is menagerie is not a good card to open. If you were playing shelters, it would be better. But if you have 7 coppers and 3 estates in your hand, you are absolutely guaranteed to have duplicates. So menagerie will only be able to draw you one. So you want to. They're better to add a little bit later after you have some more varied cards. Here, menagerie is actually probably just not going to turn out too well just because of how hard it is to get rid of coppers and states too. So unfortunate, but I think probably just skippable.
Yeah, I think so too. So goes for the captain. I mean, I'm not huge on the captain. Like, he's really only going to be going for Smithy, I think. And then, I mean, I guess the next turn part is nice, but I just prefer like the border village Smithy combo. Though.
One of the nice things about Captain too is that with its next turn effect, then you can play a menagerie and get a little village effect and 2 more cards in your hand. That is just like if you have the opportunity, that is just strictly better than playing Smithy. But yeah, I see that Border Village Smithy would be good to start off. I don't think I would skip Captain here. I'd probably want to add one, at least 2. Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean maybe in terms of like maybe that's something that I would remodel too. I'm not sure. Although the only 4 cost is Smithy, so that's kind of important. Uh, but yeah. I don't agree with taking treasuries as border villages though. Treasury is okay, but I mean it's just a peddler. You're just replacing a card from your getting a coin. It doesn't do anywhere near as much as if you had a border village and a smithy going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this game could also end pretty quickly on tiles as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm expecting the border villages and smithies to pile. And then treasuries might pile too, given the way they're playing.
Yeah, I'd like 6, and you buy a gold. No, that should have been a border village governor, border village smithy.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
like border village smithy here.
Yeah, border village. Yeah, border village governor has some merit too. Like sure you're drawing a card for your opponent, but if you can like have a control of the government split too. But yeah, also too here, Hales is absolutely right with the mantra of don't buy gold, because for the price of the gold, you can get 2 cards that really improve your deck, and one of those cards and gain gold whenever you can.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a single Viking game too, so you don't really want to have a lot of golds other than for I have governors and using these to just do all of the provinces.
Yeah, I think that is certainly true.
Yeah, the mountain pass effect. Oh boy, yeah, this is a terrible event to have if you don't really know the cards.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's just too easy to overbid, like, overvalue Mountain Pass.
What map do too? So I know Shaman so uh, for reference, he's a long time player in the community. And he's very very good. One of the better people at deck tracking and a lot of the math behind opening probabilities. Um, or at least explaining that, and like he's a very good coach as well. So definitely check out the hashtag coaching channel for coaching sessions if you can make those. But anyway, yeah. So Shanahan is saying Mountain Pass. You want to like bid what your opponent has the capability for. Uh, like bid the amount of money that they have plus plus 8, so that they can't buy a province as easily the next two. After like assuming they draw their deck and pay off all their debt, well, they pay off enough to enough debt that they likely can't get a province again.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And then there's just a question here of like, like, yeah. So if you're like actually like mountain passes, this is for this situation. Yeah. And bidding only 7. Okay, but yeah. Let's get through bunch of bid only 6 then. Um, yeah, I think that's honestly a bit under. Like, granted, it's a bit hard to pay off, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
Maybe
that.
they didn't want it. I don't know.
Yeah, hard to tell there.
Yeah. Yeah, my default is just I usually tend to bid around like 12 or 13 because I usually don't want it. And yeah, no, I understand that it's mixed up, but yeah, um, yeah, this is just one of those things. It's like it makes Dominion very weird, and don't worry, most people don't like Mountain Pass, so you will often find it on fan or dislike lists. So you don't have to get as good with it. But again, like nobody knows how to play it well. But yeah.
Yeah, Mountain Pass, like, yeah, like it's not quite bad enough to like earn a spot on my banner or disliked list. But like it's definitely up there in the cards I don't like.
But yeah, here I think like even if you didn't want to have the debt, I think like bidding only 6 is just too like far too little. Just because it is relatively easy to get through your deck. You just want to try to like, make it a bit harder. I yeah, I mean, I don't know if default is good here. Don't know enough. Like, haven't been tracking closely enough to know what the technical capability is, but I probably would have been around 13, 14.
Yeah, that's about what I do.
And also too, it's 8 points too, which shouldn't matter usually, especially if you can prevent them from getting a province. Well, you can do that, then you've basically just caught up anyway. So like the thing about that is just yeah, like I think it's a similar mindset to the like various piles where you have points on them that like you don't want your opponent to get that. So I found usually like I usually don't want the debt anyway. So I found that even like bidding like 15 or 16, people usually still take it. If I don't want
Yeah, that is definitely true.
it.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, it's a little bit of an extra mind game there.
that sounds about right.
Yeah, so with governor on the board and how powerful that is, like it should essentially just be the bidding for you debt, and then you can just gain all your cards with governor.
Yeah, you could do that.
That's extra dice either. Interesting way to say that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah. There are extra games though, for sure. Governor is a very good gamer. Um, yeah, actually, I don't think either of them used governor to gain gold, which is interesting. Like, uh, I guess it's maybe like you don't want to be giving money. Um, but the way I think of it is like the silver that I get from my opponent's governor plays are just getting in the way and making it harder for me to draw to get my golds and governors together. Um, so I like it's kind of a little like mini attack there really because governor games can just be so explosive. Um, like you can't just yeah, like you have to be very careful about taking like 4 or 5 provinces at a time.
Yeah, I mean, like the governors, like I feel like some of these governors like should never have been gained. But yeah, I feel like it'll should end up okay. I mean, like ditastrutt like is just so has enough of a points lead that like they will likely just win that province.
Yeah, if it's a single buy or if it's far behind, it's just very difficult to catch back up. Yeah, most of the governor plays were used for draw, um, but yeah, the remodeling is really powerful. Here you got to be a bit careful. Well, actually, no, there aren't very many four costs. So you don't have to worry too much about your opponent remodeling their fours into duchies. But yeah, it doesn't matter here. That's just the game right there.
That sounds like it. After ditastrutt wins this, not surprisingly. Yeah, so I think that's the match.
lots of deck control, lots of traction, action payload is almost always going to be better than treasures. But yeah, lots of just general principles that you'll get with more experience. But if you do those and start playing better better than now. So it's lots to improve on, and good games here, and best of luck with your next matches.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commentating.
Thanks for having me, Rozy.